Welcome back, Facebook family, to Land LAYBY Facebook Live here with me, Linda. I'm happy to be back here with you. We've been enjoying the series of Chamas. Started out last week, part one before Easter, with benefits of joining a Chama. We described the Chama, we walked through the benefits, and there were so many, and I particularly enjoyed that session. Then we had an Easter break, and then we came back and we walked through things you should look out for when you want to join a Chama, and that was pretty insightful as well. Thank you for the guys who went ahead and just wrote their own personal things to look out for. I hope you guys would read and also just grow in that way. And then this week we'll go through disadvantages of being in a Chama, or even before you join, so that you can know some of the cons that you can look out for, or things that should just totally be a deal breaker for you, or things that, so now that you know these are what are the bad things in a Chama, they won't surprise you as much. Or if you're experiencing some others that I probably won't list, please write them, especially if they're general ones, so that you don't have to anika your people or highlight a specific Chama and then get in trouble for it. So yeah, we'll go through the 5. Call your friends. Let's talk about this Chama thing. I'm looking forward to even more conversations about it. But then this is also the last, just the last bit of this Chama series. We'll be looking into other types of ventures, their advantages, their disadvantages, and things that you need to look out for before you join them or you participate in those types of ventures. Yeah. So the disadvantages of joining a Chama, I'm just gonna do 5. 5 that are general. They would apply to all Chamas. Any Chama can suffer from these types of cons. Yeah. So the first one would be that Chamas can be pretty addictive. When you join one and then you start saving, it's a merry-go-round type thing. Usually you'll find yourself wanting to join another, and you join another, and then another, and another, and before you know it, there's a lot of just things that are calling out for your attention. So many activities, your networks have overgrown. You are spread out thin every weekend. You are out somewhere with this Chama or the other Chama. There's conflict of interest. So it's important that when you're joining Chamas, you apply wisdom and self-control and just think, have my needs changed? Why am I joining a second Chama? Is it because of peer pressure or some type of uncontrollable or insatiable need to just keep saving more, saving here, or am I addicted to just the feeling of belonging? You need to understand why you're joining 2-3 more Chamas. And if there's no tangible, proper reason why, then it's better for you to maintain 1 or 2 that have the ability to meet your financial, social, and whatever other needs you may have. Yeah? The second thing that people can suffer or can be a disadvantage of being in a Chama would be just undue pressure. Pressure for your house to look a certain way. Pressure for you to take your kids where everybody else is taking their kids. Pressure to speak a certain way. Pressure to do certain things. Pressure to have certain jobs. Like, there's usually so much pressure everywhere people are. But in a place where you guys are relating so closely and you interact with each other's families, you talk about each other's jobs, and every time you meet, it's sort of an occasion. There's usually so much pressure to perform, and it's important for you to know yourself. And if you're not able to control those kinds of influences, you'd rather not join a Chama, because pressure will find you there. It will hunt you down, and if you're not secure or just stable in who you are, it's gonna make you miserable. Okay? The third disadvantage would be that most Chamas run a 2-tier system, where there's the contribution bit for the money where you are, the money you're using to involve yourselves in investment ventures. And then there's another amount you're contributing for what they call welfare. So you can't mix the two, because you can't use welfare money to invest, and you can't use investment money to visit a bereaved member of the Chama or to buy a gift for someone who just got a baby. So usually that can become a bit strenuous for a person who hadn't planned for it. And for stuff like welfare, you can't plan. You have to keep giving, and 10 people in the Chama might be pregnant at the same time. So every month you have to add a certain amount because you need to visit this other person. And then before you know it, someone is bereaved. Before you know it, someone also has a sick child. And it goes on and on and on. So in as much as Chamas are great for social support, that can be quite strenuous for a person if they hadn't planned for it. The fourth thing would be that some Chamas usually end up becoming a financial drain, where the investment in ventures haven't been well thought through. There's no business plan, so they just go with the face. This time everybody is investing in quails. Let's put all our money there. The next week everybody is doing something else. Everybody has run there. So your money keeps burning and burning, and you guys have to start again, re-strategize. And even though investment itself is just synonymous with risk, there's certain levels of carelessness or a lack of consideration that can cause your Chama to become a financial drain, honestly. And that should be one of the deal breakers, that if a Chama you've joined or are joining, or you're just thinking to join, has no history of even one successful venture, then you have no reason to join that Chama, really. The fifth one, which is so dangerous and has caused many conflicts as well, is the Shylocking thing that Chamas tend to now lean towards when proper ventures have not been successful. So they start the whole system of forcing you to borrow money and then to pay back in interest, so that then the money can grow, or to bring your friends and your family members or encourage them to borrow. And usually the interest rates are sometimes pretty reasonable. If I could give a personal experience, I know there's one that my mother used to belong to, and they used to calculate the interest rates per day, and it used to be like 3% of the money per day. So if you take a month, you pay back the money with 30% interest. And that used to be terrible. If someone doesn't have enough money already, it's so much that they are borrowing probably for some type of project or upkeep, where the hell do you expect them to get money to pay you with 30% interest? So it became like a vicious cycle where people would borrow, pay back, and then borrow again. Like as soon as I've paid back, I borrow again because I don't have any money to sustain me. So that Shylocking thing has caused so much hurt. It has caused some really good Chamas to disintegrate. It's caused some Chama members to be stigmatized. And if you want to join a Chama, or if you're in a Chama that already does this, better you avoid the borrowing or propose a change in the system, so that then there's more favorable Shylocking systems, if that is possible. So these 5 things usually are some of the biggest disadvantages of joining a Chama. The fact that they can be addictive and you just feel like you can't get out, you're trapped. 2, undue pressure to perform and to probably metamorphosize into something everybody else wants you to be. 3, the whole 2-tier system, or even sometimes there's 3, depending on the way the Chama functions, where there's welfare and then there's monthly contributions. Then 4, the possibility of it becoming a financial drain. And then 5, just extreme Shylocking rules that end up causing you so much misery. So it's important that anytime you want to join any type of venture, and in our case it's a Chama, to look at the disadvantages and just ask yourself, can I stomach this, this, and this, and this? And if I can't, what are my deal breakers? And when you're joining, you need to ask the leadership of the Chama, how do you guys deal with this type of disadvantage or risk? I hope I've helped you as I have helped myself. I'll see you next week, and I'm looking forward to hearing your views on our social media. See you next Friday.